Hello everyone, welcome back to this channel. In today's video we are going to learn the method of variation of parameters for solving non-homogeneous equations of second order. Now this method is there for all orders, but we are going to do it specifically for second order differential equations, and that too without proof because the proof is a little long. So we'll be focusing on the mechanical part here, how to solve problems for finding out YP for non-homogeneous equations using the method of variation of parameters. So let's consider a non-homogeneous differential equation of second order which looks like this. It's a linear differential equation and it's a non-homogeneous one. You can see that the right hand side is non-zero, so it's a non-homogeneous differential equation which is a second order differential equation and a linear one. Now we know that how to find YC. We'll first be considering the associated homogeneous equation and then find out YC using auxiliary equation or the characteristic equation, and depending on the nature of roots we'll be finding two linearly independent solutions because the characteristic equation will have two roots. Accordingly we'll have two linearly independent solutions in the YC component. So once you solve for YC, you name one of the solutions as Y1 and Y2 and then fix them for the process throughout. Then YP is given by, according to this method, YP is given by U1, Y1. Y1 is the first linearly independent solution that you're getting in YC, and Y2 is the second linearly independent solution that you're getting in YC. Now let's see what are these U1 and U2. U1 is given by an integral which is minus integral of Y2 into Fx. Fx happens to be the right hand side of this differential equation, and make sure that the leading coefficient, the coefficient of y double dash, is unity here. If it's not unity, you will have to divide by that and then see what is your right hand side. So ultimately you'll have to put it in this form before you put the fx in the integral here. So it's going to be minus into minus times integral of y2, the second linearly independent function, into the right hand side upon w. W stands for the Wronskian of y1 and y2. We know that Wronskian is y1, y2, y1 dash, y2 dash. This is how we define Wronskian of y1 and y2. So this w is standing for this determinant, y2 is standing for the second linearly independent solution that you have here, and fx is standing for the right hand side when the coefficient of y double dash is unity. Otherwise you'll have to divide by that coefficient before figuring out what the right hand side is. And u2 is given by integral of y1 into, without a sign here, it's a positive integral. There in u1 you had a negative sign, here you do not have a negative sign. It's integral of y1 into right hand side upon w. W stands for the Wronskian. So let's quickly learn this method through some illustrations. Now the proof has not been included in this video. The proof is primarily based on assuming that YP has this form and then figuring out that U1 and U2 take the form of integrations, these two integrations which we have illustrated here. So that's not under discussion right now. So let's quickly have a look at how to use this method for finding out YP. So let's have the first question. You can see that it says use method of variation of parameters to find the general solution of this differential equation. We know that this differential equation cannot be solved using method of undetermined coefficients because there's no way you can guess your trial YP. So let's quickly first find out YC. There are primarily three steps involved in method of variation of parameters. So the first step is, let's quickly first figure out what YC is. For YC, you consider the associated homogeneous equation which is y double dash plus y equal to 0, which will be solved after considering the characteristic equation. It would be r square plus 1 equal to 0. So r is plus minus iota. So YC is c1 cos x plus c2 sin x. This will always happen for a second order differential equation. You will always have two linearly independent solutions in YC. Now once you have two linearly independent solutions, the first step is to call one of them. Let's call cos x as y1 and sin x y2, sin x as y2. Alright, we could have taken cos x as y2 and sin x as y1 also, but once we freeze, we have to freeze them throughout the process. So let's take one of them as y1, the other one as y2, and freeze them throughout the process. And then the second thing that you have to do with these y1 and y2 is to calculate their Wronskian. Wronskian we know is the determinant which comprises of y1 and y2 in the first row and their derivatives below them. So the derivative of cos x is minus sin x, derivative of sin x is cos x. So this 2 cross 2 determinant. When you multiply cos square x plus sin square x, so that's going to lead to 1. You will observe that this will always be non-zero because the solutions are going to be linearly independent, and we know from previous videos also that the Wronskian of two linearly independent solutions is always non-zero, and we need them to be non-zero because ultimately in the procedure you are dividing by the Wronskian. So Wronskian has to be a non-zero expression, which it will always be because you are considering the Wronskian of two linearly independent solutions. Now the first function u1 is given by minus y2 into the right hand side. The right hand side function here is tan x. You have to decide this tan x only when this coefficient is 1. Otherwise, you'll have to divide by this for figuring out what the right hand side is. So according to the formula, it's minus integral y2, the second function which is sin x. You can see you froze it like this. You took sin x to be y2. So this is your y2 minus y2 into the right hand side function tan x upon w has turned out to be 1. So this integral happens to be integral of minus sin x into tan x, which is very easy to integrate. Once you integrate, this is your u1. u2 is given by, without a sign, you have y1 into right hand side by w. So doing the same thing, y1 is cos x here. You can see y1 is cos x. So you get cos x into tan x upon 1. So it's just a normal integration of sin x, which is minus cos x. So according to the process, yp is given by u1 y1 plus u2 y2, where u1 and u2 have been obtained as integrals above. So u1 is sin x minus log of sec x plus tan x, and u2 is minus cos x. So u1, y1 was cos x and y2 was sin x. So just substituting these values and simplifying, you get your yp like this, and hence the general solution is given by yc plus yp. So this is your final answer. So the trial yp thing that we were doing in the undetermined coefficients is not required here. You can always solve those questions which you were solving using undetermined coefficients using the method of variation of parameters also, but method of variation of parameters cannot, provided you are able to find out u1 and u2, the integrals are easily manageable, then you can always apply this method. But undetermined coefficients is not going to work all the time. So let's quickly have a look at the second question. Here it's sine hyperbolic 2x. You know sine hyperbolic 2x by definition is e to power 2x minus e to power minus 2x upon 2. So you'll first find the characteristic equation, your yc, and in yc these two linearly independent functions have to be called as y1 and y2. The choice can be yours. You can either call the first function y1 as e to power minus 2x or the other way around, but once you decide, you have to freeze them throughout the process. Do not change in between. After solving for y1 and y2, calculate their Wronskian. Wronskian will always be non-zero because it's a pair of linearly independent solutions, and then just apply the two formulae that you have for u1 and u2. They are minus y2 into right hand side upon w, y1 right hand side upon w, easy integrations, and then apply the formula yp is u1 y1 plus u2 y2 and simplify this to get your general solution as y equal to yc plus yp, where yp takes this form after simplification. A quick question again, using the method of variation of parameters, you'll first find out yc, this will be your y1, this will be your y2. You calculate the Wronskian and then use the formula u1 is minus y2 into right hand side upon w. Calculate it using by parts, because it's a product of two functions of x, so by parts integration, and similarly for u2 it's integral of y1 into right hand side by w. After solving the integrals which are called as u1 and u2 here, the final yp is given by u1 y1 and u2 plus u2 y2, where y1 and y2 were those solutions which you had in yc. Okay, so that's the general solution. Now this fourth question which I've listed here, I've taken two parts here for you to understand the things better. Here what is given is a non-homogeneous equation and the complementary function are already given. So complementary function, that means yc is already given to you. You don't have to find out yc. From yc you have to take the process further to find out yp using the method of variation of parameters. And for obvious reasons yc has been given, because if they were not given, this yc, the two linearly independent solutions were not given, then for yc you'll have to solve this equation. 4x, so you have x square y double dash, x square, oh it's hanging, just give me a moment please, yeah, x square y double dash minus 4x y dash plus 6y equal to 0. Now you can see that this is an Euler equation for which you will have to do the substitution v equal to log x and so on for figuring out what the two linearly independent solutions are. So this question is going to become a very lengthy question if they expect you to find out yc also using that substitution and then using that yc to find out yp using method of variation of parameters. So if such questions come, then they give you yc ready made in the question itself. So yc is already given. Now it's your job to name either x square as y1 or x cube as y2 or the other way around. Whatever is convenient, whatever you like, you just name one of the functions that you have in yc as y1 and the other one as y2, and the procedure says calculate the Wronskian. Once you have the Wronskian, apply the formula minus integral y2 into right hand side. Now this is a line of caution here, very important point here I want to make, that in the right hand side, here you were to write the right hand side, the fx component, right? Now figure out what your fx is. This is not your right hand side. Mind it that the equation has to be in the standard form, and the standard form is when the coefficient of y double dash is unity. So you'll have to divide by x square. This equation needs to be divided by x square before you figure out what your right hand side is. So the right hand side won't be x cube, it would be x cube divided by x square. So that makes it x. So you can see that I have taken x here, not x cube. So keep it in mind that in the formula minus integral y2 into right hand side upon w and integral y1 into right hand side by w, the right hand side has to be figured out from the equation in standard form, and the standard form has the coefficient of y double dash as unity. If it's not unity, you'll have to make it unity by dividing by its coefficient and then figuring out what the right hand side is. Rest is usual. Then you do yp is u1 y1 plus u2 y2, and the general solution is yc plus yp. A similar question here, yc is given, so you can figure out what your y1 is. You can take c1 x square plus c2 x square log x. So one of them, call one of them as y1, the other one as y2, and obtain their Wronskian the usual way. Wronskian is, here you will take the functions and every function will have its derivative under it, and that makes it x cube. Now you have u1 is minus integral y2 into right hand side. Again, this needs to be taken with caution. It's not that x to the power 4 is your fx here. It's not the right hand side because the standard form says it has to be y double dash here. So you will divide by x square, make it y double dash, and then decide your fx. So fx becomes x4 by x square, which is x square. So you can see that x square has been taken here as the right hand side in both the integrals, and once you solve them using appropriate methods of integration that you know, the yp is given by u1 y1 plus u2 y2 according to the method of variation of parameters, which simplifies to x4 by 4, and hence the general solution is y equal to yc plus yp. So the crux, the main steps which are involved in method of variation of parameters is, number one, you have to keep in mind that the equation has to be in the standard form. That means the coefficient of y double dash has to be unity, and then you decide what your right hand side is. Okay, after doing fx, identifying what fx is, you will first find yc. If it's not given in the question, yc will have two linearly independent solutions, y1 and y2. Call them as y1 and y2, find their Wronskian, then you calculate what u1 is. u1 will be minus y2 into right hand side. So right hand side needs to be decided after making this as unity. So into right hand side upon w, and u2 will be given by y1 into right hand side upon w. And after you calculate u1 and u2 and you have your y1 and y2, the yp is given by u1 y1 plus u2 y2. So that's how you calculate your y1 y2 Wronskian and then yp, and using yc and yp, the general solution is given by y equal to yc plus yp. So that's all about method of variation of parameters. And I hope the technique is clear to you. The only line of caution I am repeating is that please figure out your right hand side function after putting the equation in the standard form. That means making the coefficient of y double dash as 1. So that's all about this video. I hope you have understood the method. Thank you so much for watching.